Hey there, folks and friends. Connecting Dots here. It's July 3rd, 2014. I'm not sure if you caught this latest news, but let me tell you, the fear-mongering just continues on here, and a whole lot of nonsense. As you'll notice by the time you're done watching this video, you'll say, I'm right. Total nonsense. Anyways, as it says here, this is a fresh story from July 3rd, 2014. U.S. increases airport security worldwide following report of increased terror threat. Really? Increased terror threat? Who's telling us this stuff? So it goes on to say here, the beefed up security is almost certainly a response to recent intelligence reports. Oh, really? Intelligence reports. Whose intelligence? Let's debunk that one also while we're at it. Suggesting that the al-Qaeda-linked terrorists in Syria are working with members of al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula to blow up a commercial aircraft headed to the US or Europe, as first reported by ABC News. Mainstream media promoting fear-mongering. Nothing new there. As you can see here, this article here is from Fox News. What I'm not impressed is how I see YouTubers that apparently are truthers, yet can't seem to debunk this crap. So it goes on to say here that a counter-terrorism official told AP that terrorists are attempting to create a bomb that would go undetected through airport security. Ask yourself, folks, have they ever created a bomb that would be detected by airport security? No, so there's no new agenda here. It's always been about a bomb that would not be detected. Okay, but now they're telling you there's added security. And it's not just over in USA, it's in Canada here too. The same BS, same mainstream propaganda lies, undetectable bombs. Well, geez, we shouldn't even bother checking then if they're undetected is the way I see it. But anyways, let me make some more nonsense of all of this. Dabu 7, I gotta say, I hate to point out anyone, but Dabu, we were supposed to open up a website together, but I decided not to because after watching him for a while, I decided that he's too much into fear-mongering. Plus a few other things didn't add up. The guy tells me he works how many hours per week? 2 jobs, 48 hours per week. He's got 3 kids to care for, yet he puts out all these stories nonstop. And after just a couple of months of researching it, I found out that most of the stuff that he posts, he hasn't researched it properly himself, but this latest one is really where I question what's going on. How come Dabu can't tell folks the truth of what's going on instead of propagating the same BS as other mainstream media has? So here we go, folks.
Officials in the past have raised concerns on non-metallic explosives being surgically implanted inside of a traveler's body, designed to be undetectable. Now, we've talked about this before. I did a video piece on how there was a series that was put out that showed a man that was feeding his son these balls that he was dipping in honey. They were explosives. No one knew it till the man was inside where he was going and he blew it sky high. That is the thing that you need to look for here, and there's really no way to look for it. They've got body scanners. I mean, they've got everything you can think of, and they're still finding ways to slip past them.
They're still finding ways to slip past them. What exactly are you talking about, Dabu? There hasn't been a terrorist attack. There's been a bunch of false flags. Many of us have reported on this whole shoe bomber, then the Nigerian underwear bomber. Come on, folks, let's get real here. Let's get real about this whole thing. If they were able to actually make these undetectable bombs, and as Dabu was mentioning here in a past article that he's followed along, that was put out by mainstream media again, of course, that they were swallowing these bombs and walking by undetected. Folks, there hasn't been a bomb, there hasn't been an attack on the US until when? 9/11. There's nothing else. Everything else after that has been a false flag. We all know this. At what point will the BS stop? At what point will you say enough is enough? I'm not sure. I'm sitting back here, I'm wondering, obviously I'm not taking an airplane every day or every month or every year. But nonetheless, I know that the security is tightening down. This is all part of the New World Order agenda. Anyways, over at the forum here, I decided to make a little bit of common sense of all of this and pull out some past articles to let you know that it's getting worse. And I posted this story here. It talks about the reports suggesting that the al-Qaeda terrorists, they're now in Syria and they're working together, And is this the same U.S. intelligence here that's telling you this stuff? Are they serious? The same intelligence that turned its back on the insider info that 9/11 was going down in their own backyards, yet you refused to look at it. As far as 9/11, I'm not sure how you feel about it, but there's a CNN poll here and tells you basically 89% of Americans believe it was something that was linked to the shadow government. Nonetheless, here I go on to say that fat chance that same U.S. intelligence has any real idea what's going on in Iraq or anywhere else, as it was totally clueless for years as to where terrorist, I call him Fall Guy Osama bin Laden, was located for years until he was killed 3 times. Now I go on to say here, if they really did know where these bomb makers were located, then they would kill them using so-called signature strikes, right? And I post an article here that says, that this all started with the Bush administration, and he was mainly conducting personality strikes, and now under the Obama program is expanded to so-called signature strikes. So if they really do know, why haven't they hit with these signature strikes? Because they don't know where these guys are. It's a load of BS, folks. Anyways, I go on to talk about here this latest stuff here. What they want you to do is you're now going to be swabbed. They've been telling the people at the airports have got to turn on their cell phones, turn on their laptops. Their baby carriage is being swabbed. And by the way, yes, when you're being swabbed, you can have your DNA picked up also. Now, I really don't know at what point people are going to wake up, but there's no doubt about it that they don't know where this is all taking place, even though they're saying here that it's all taking place in Syria. If they actually had this knowledge, they would have done something about it with the signature strikes. But they go on to talk about in that article how these new security levels, it's not just a fly-by-night thing, it's not a temporary thing. This is the world we now live in. No, this is the world that they're making us live in. Okay, there's enough information out there to show that even 9/11 was a false flag, and it's these same crazy people in charge who are still fear-mongering us, telling us it's the end of the world. I'm not going to put up with it. And no, they don't stop. This was an evacuee that's being frisked here at the New Orleans after the Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, right in front of our daughter. And where is she touching? Breast area. Come on, what are they going to say? She's got 2 big bombs there in front? Like, these people are sad. Even in that evacuee has to be checked out. Very, very sad here. And it didn't stop there. Oh God, no, it didn't stop, And as I pointed out in that article, this is part of an evolving and constant review. They will not stop. You cannot trust these intelligence sources and other sources. They're just out to do one thing, and that's to make you lose your rights. And eventually, I even pulled out 2 stories here, right in Texas here, where they conducted body cavity searches right on the side of the road. 2 women right on the side of the road, folks. Very sad here. And look at the comments here. You get to read this stuff. I mean, you can hit the space bar at any time and read it if you want at your own leisure. But basically, I pointed out the most important stuff here, how this is just unbelievable, the crap they're willing to pull on you people, and how some of them will put up with it. I don't know, and I don't mean everyone, but apparently that 30% of Americans were willing to submit to body cavity searches. 30%. Can you believe that? All in the name of what? To be safe? Folks, it's nothing but fear-mongering. Don't buy into the BS. If they actually knew where these bombs were, if they knew where the bomb makers were, they would have blown them up, okay? And it's not a temporary thing. This is going to get worse and worse. I was just saying to a friend of mine, he said, you shouldn't care about it too much. It's not like you're flying all the time. I said, yes, but how long before it ends up right down my road, down the highway somewhere where I want to maybe go from one province to another? I mean, honestly, enough is enough here. I'm not going to put up with this stuff. I mean, I'm going to keep busting the holes in the propaganda, and hopefully you folks will catch on that this is nothing to be concerned about, that the powers that be couldn't stop an underwear bomber, couldn't stop a shoe bomber. Why? Because they're all false flags. If you follow those stories, if you research them, you'll find out there's enough evidence there to let you know that this was done on purpose. I mean, the Nigerian underwear bomber even had an escort into the airport check-in. It's so sad. Anyways, I just want to let you know that they're out fear-mongering again with more BS, and they have nothing to actually prove here in that article. It's one of the things they mentioned, that they don't know they can't describe the kind of information that triggered this warning, because there is no information. It's all about you losing your rights, and take off your clothes and be prepared to be probed. And we don't want to stereotype or do any type of profiling, because, well, we don't want to insult a terrorist, you know. So basically, everyone's going to have to be checked, and that's it. That's all. You folks will carry along and do what you're told. For how long? Take care, folks.